Hi, everyone, and welcome to another Self-Care Saturday. I'm Lauren, an associate librarian at the Hidden Springs branch of Ada Community Libraries. And today I want to talk to you about sleep. It's a very important subject that I don't think we focus on enough. So, a little bit about me. I have been dealing with chronic insomnia since I was pretty young, probably around 9 or 10 years old. So, sleep to me has always been a struggle. Actually, I started visiting a therapist for the first time a couple years ago because of how bad my sleep was, and I specifically looked for a therapist who part of their background was for sleep and sleep issues. So I learned some good things from my therapist, and I've also learned some stuff just from dealing with insomnia for most of my life. So I'm going to share with you some of those sleep tips. I'm also going to give you some essential oils that I use and other items that I use to help me sleep. So here we go. So the first and probably the most important tip I learned from my therapist was regarding naps. I don't know if you've ever looked into ways to sleep better or tips for battling insomnia, but pretty much every website you go to and every book you look at will tell you don't take naps. Avoid naps. Naps will throw off your regular sleep patterns. Don't nap. And I always thought that was kind of ridiculous because I was always like, how can my sleep possibly get any worse? Like if I have a really bad night of sleep, which is pretty normal, and then the next day I want to nap but I don't, that night I'm going to sleep better, because that was never true. So I read a really good book from Ariana Huffington Post. She said that taking naps has helped her tremendously. She even has, like, in her office a little cot that she can nap on during the day. She'll take just a break and go and nap because she needs it. So napping is really, really important. It helps me the most because if I'm really tired, like I got like maybe a couple hours of sleep the night before, and I'm struggling to get through the day, but let's say I get off work early, I can go home and nap, and man, it's such a pick-me-up. Or if I'm having trouble falling asleep, say on a Friday night, but I know that tomorrow on Saturday I get off work at 2, so I can go home and take a nap. And just knowing that the next day I can nap will sometimes help me fall asleep faster that night on Friday night, So taking naps has been a really, really amazing thing for me. Sometimes I'll come home from work and it'll been a really long day, and I'll get home and it's like 6 o'clock and I'm like, okay, I need to start dinner. So I'll go preheat the oven and I'll stick something in the oven and I'll set a timer for half an hour. That's when I need to check on it. And I'll go and lay down for half an hour. And what really surprised me when I would do stuff like that was I would actually be woken up by the timer, meaning I fell asleep within half an hour. I did not think that was possible. I did not think I could fall asleep that quickly at all. And knowing that was just huge for me. So naps have been a really amazing thing. I just took one last night when I got home from work. It was a really long day. I went and took a nap. And afterwards, I felt great. So if you've got time in the afternoon, heck, even in the evening, if you get off at work at 5 and you've got a little bit of a break before you need to start dinner or something, take a quick nap. Take a 20-minute nap. Take a half-hour nap. It can really give you the energy to get through the day, or really just help you feel better. So that's the number one tip. Take naps. Okay, so the second tip I have is from my therapist also. She was the one who recommended the Ariana Huffington Post book. And she also recommended getting at least 5 minutes of sun a day. I haven't been doing that as much lately, but it is really helpful. And sometimes what I'll do is if I don't have time to go for a walk or something, I'll go and stand out in my backyard and just stand in the sun for a few minutes. And especially let the sun, hit my face. Close my eyes and let the sun hit my face. And it really does help. Not only does it help me warm up a little bit, but especially right now with it being winter, getting a little bit of sun really can help your sleep and your mood and just everything. So if you can, get at least 5 minutes of sun a day. It's something I really need to work on doing. Okay, third tip. Try a weighted blanket. I got a weighted blanket about a year ago. The one I got is YNM weighted blanket. It's from Amazon, but find one you like, honestly. The big tip for weighted blankets is to get a blanket that's 10% of your body weight. So if you're like 150 pounds, get a 15-pound blanket. If you're 120 pounds, get a 12-pound blanket. It's pretty simple. And also, you don't have, if you like have a full-size bed or a queen-size bed, you don't necessarily need a queen-size blanket. You don't need a blanket to go over the entire bed. You just need a blanket to cover yourself. So I got a twin-sized weighted blanket to just cover me, and it works. And that has helped a lot. I've noticed it helps me stay asleep longer, which is good, and I don't wake up as much. So that's been nice. So if you can, try a weighted blanket. You might find an improved, a marked difference in your sleep. So the fourth sleep tip I have for you is try using some sleep masks. I've been using sleep masks for a while, and they are really helpful. I used to not like them. I used to get like the really cheap kind from like Walmart. And what I would find is that they put a lot of pressure on my eyelids and my eyelids, and I didn't really like that. So I actually started getting some from Amazon that I really like called Y-View sleep masks. And I'll put the link at the end of the video. But they allow you to open your eyes. They are kind of domed around your eyes, so you're able to open your eyes, and they don't put as much pressure around your face, and I really like them. You're able to adjust them in the back, and they don't use Velcro, which is really nice. You can make them tighter or looser. It's great. So those have been a really big help for me. So if you have tried sleep masks and you've only really tried the cheap ones, I'd recommend trying some like this, some that let you open your eyes and aren't too tight, because blocking out the light really helps my body to know that, hey, maybe it's time to, sleep. So that's sleep tip number 4. So sleep tip number 5 is try using a sound machine. I got one a couple years ago. I got the Pure Enrichment Wave Sleep Therapy Sound Machine from Amazon. And it has, I think, 5 different sound settings. It's got a white noise, one that sounds like a fan, ones that sound like the forest and crickets, one that sounds like rain, one that sounds like waves. And you can adjust the volume, and you can even set a timer for when you want it to turn off if you want. That's been really nice to block out just like neighbor noise or any noise you're trying to drown out. In the summertime, I generally use a fan by the side of my bed, and I realized that even when I wasn't all that hot, the fan was still nice because it created a noise to help me fall asleep. So I use the fan setting on my sound machine during the winter when I don't need a fan. So try using a sound machine, or you can download an app that has sounds to help you sleep. I like the Relax Melodies app. You're able to combine a lot of different sounds to create a sound you like. I created one that sounds like rain and wind and thunder off in the distance, and that was really nice. You do have to pay for the fancier sounds or the fancier mixes, but there is a free app. The app is generally free, and you can use a lot of the things for free. So I use that app, but there are a lot of really good sleep apps out there, so you can try some of those to give you just some nice sleep sounds to help you fall asleep. So yeah, try using a sound machine or a sleep sound app. Okay, number 6 is kind of silly. It sounds kind of silly, but it's wear socks to bed. I know it sounds kind of ridiculous, but when I have really bad circulation, my feet are generally cold. So wearing socks at night when I sleep can help me so much. I tend to overheat at night, which is weird because I'm cold all the rest of the time. My body really is just got a lot going on. So I can't wear I found that lately I can't wear like really warm sweatpants or really warm sleep pants at night because I get too warm. But I can wear a simple nightgown and socks, and my feet are warm, and I'm not too overheated, but my feet being warm helps me fall asleep so much because my feet being cold has kept me asleep so much. Even if the rest of me is really warm, my feet will always be cold. So wear socks. Try socks. Try some really soft ones. Try some ones that will stay on. Some of the really soft ones will like fall off if you toss and turn at all. And so I try to wear ones that are a little tight, not too tight, but I know they'll stay on all night. So that's yes, number 6 is wear socks. Okay. Sleep tip number 7 is get some exercise, at least 15 minutes a day. I'm not good about this one, but I do notice that when I do get some exercise, like a walk, or I use my elliptical, or I do even some Pilates or something during the day, I do tend to sleep better as long as I don't do exercise like an hour or two before bed. I do tend to sleep better. When I was out able to travel back in the before times, I traveled to Europe, and when I was there, I walked a lot because it was just cheaper, and I could see the sights. It was a nice way to see the sights. So when I was in London, when I was in Paris, I pretty much walked everywhere. And I'd be like sightseeing all day long, and I'd get home at like 6. I'd get back to the hostel I was staying in, or the Airbnb I was staying in, or whatever, and I'd get back around like 7 or whatever, and I would sleep so well that night because I would have spent the entire day walking, the entire day getting exercise, and I slept so much better during the entire time I was traveling than I did when I was at home. So exercise can help you sleep. I know it's really hard to fit it in. It's really hard for me to fit it in, and I do need to work on doing that more often. But if you can even squeeze in 15 minutes of doing some kind of exercise, a walk, using your elliptical machine or your exercise bike, or even if you like dance for 15 minutes, something to get your blood pump and your body moving, and something to get you a little bit of exercise, it can help you sleep better. Okay, so number 8 ties in a lot to that one, is get some fresh air. I know that right now, especially with everything that's going on, we've been staying indoors a lot more, especially right now since it's cold. But getting some fresh air really can help you sleep. I know that it wasn't just the exercise so much that I think helped me sleep when I was traveling. I think it was the fact that I was getting a lot of fresh air. When I was, staying in, like the town of Bath in England, which is a small town, and it's so pretty and picturesque, and it's just really, and just breathing fresh air all day long, I think really did help me sleep. So get yourself some fresh air, even if it's a quick walk around the block, or you go and stand out on your front porch for a few minutes, but getting some fresh air is really good. Number 9 is pretty obvious, and if you're trying to find tips to help you sleep or to battle insomnia, this one is pretty much the number 1, is cut out caffeine, or don't drink caffeine after about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. For me, I never drink caffeine. I'm not a caffeine person. I don't like coffee, and I also don't like how I feel when I drink caffeine. I feel really jittery and weird, and I don't like how it feels. So I've never really drank caffeine, and yet I've also struggled with insomnia most of my life. So, that's it's not the greatest. But if you are someone who has a bunch of coffee or a bunch of caffeinated tea or a bunch of caffeinated soda all the time, and you have trouble sleeping, try cutting it out, or try at least cutting back on it and limiting how much you have, or just how late you have it in the day, and see if that helps. I know that there have been times when I have been like, oh, you know what, I'll have a soda every day. Maybe I had a soda 3 days in a row that had caffeine in it, which isn't typical for me, but if I do, I'll realize my body's like wired and not used to it, and having caffeine for even like a few days in a row can just throw me off completely. So cutting out caffeine might be the best thing for me, which is good because I don't like a lot of things with caffeine in it anyway. So yeah, try cutting out caffeine or limiting it, and see how it does to what it does to your sleep. Okay, so number 10 is one that I've heard a lot from looking for sleep tips and for tips for battling insomnia, is if you're lying down and trying to sleep and you can't fall asleep within like an hour, get up and do something else. I will For me personally, that is horrible advice. Don't do that. That's what I would recommend. Because for me, if I get up, then I'm telling my body, you should be more awake now. And if I've been laying in bed for an hour or two and I get up, I'm going to be more awake. There's less likelihood of me falling asleep. Also, there's nothing I could do that would help me sleep. If I get up and start reading a book, my body might be like, you know what? It's time to be awake now, which is not a good thing. I want my body to fall asleep. I want my body to think, now is sleep time. And especially if I get up and turn on lights or turn on my computer or look at my phone or something, I'm going to be more awake. So I would not recommend doing that. I would not recommend getting up and trying to do something else because generally I find it just makes my body more awake. So do with that what you will. But I've heard that a lot from a bunch of different people. And I'm like, I don't think that's really helpful. So that's tip number 10. Okay, so tip number 11 is turning off your phone to do not disturb. This is a feature I didn't have on my phone. I had a really old phone for a really long time. And I get woken up all hours of the morning, really early in the morning by telemarketers or wrong numbers or whatever. And it was annoying because once I was awake, it would be really hard for me to go back to sleep. So put your phone to do not disturb and do it every night. Do it every night before bed or a few hours before bed. Turn your phone to do not disturb. Have it set so that, if these people call, my favorites in my phone call, like it might be an emergency or something. So have it set so that they can get through or if it's like a work emergency or something. But put on do not disturb so you don't get a bunch of messages and phone calls from like telemarketers or random stuff. I know that for the past several months, even though I do not live in Georgia, I have been getting texts about the Georgia elections all the time, morning, noon, and night. And because I am technically going to school online, my college is based in Georgia, and because of that, they have my number and they think I live in Georgia, which I don't. So I've been getting so many text messages again all morning, sometimes 3 or 4 in the morning about the Georgia elections, and I would just be like, I don't live there. But having my phone to do not disturb means I don't get bothered with those text messages, at least in the morning. So turn your phone to do not disturb. Number 12 is what I've not really tried all that much is try writing in a sleep journal, like having a little journal and a pen beside your bed, and trying to just keep track of or you can try this with an app. There are some good sleep apps out there. But try writing down okay, I slept really well last night. When you first wake up in the morning, I slept really well last night. I didn't sleep really well last night. I woke up a bunch during the night. I had a bunch of weird dreams. I had some nightmares. I had sleep paralysis. That's something fun that's happened to me a lot, is when you are having kind of a waking nightmare where you are half awake, but you feel trapped and you can't move. Sleep paralysis, not super fun. But write all these things down kind of to keep track of what times of the month you are having these problems, or kind of oh yeah, I was having a lot of sleep during that week because I had a ton of work stuff going on, or I had a ton of family drama or whatever. And so that way you can kind of keep track of it. And it's just kind of soothing to write down sometimes oh, I had a really good dream. I dreamt this. I slept really good last night, and it'll just help you keep track of everything. So number 13 is try some deep breathing techniques. In one of in my first self-care video, I showed you some deep breath techniques. So try some of those, or they're not really, or try something that's not even specific. Just try breathing, just focusing on your breathing while you're laying in bed instead of all the thoughts that are maybe racing around in your head. Try just focusing on breathing in, breathing out, breathing in and breathing out for a few minutes, because sometimes that can really just help relax you. So try some deep breathing techniques. Number 14 is try reading before bed. Not necessarily on your device. Try reading an actual book. If you do read on a device, try to switch it so that it is on a darker setting, so you're not getting all that blue light, because that kind of keeps you awake. And if you do want to read before bed, try using like a book light or a little lamp kind of beside your bed or beside your chair, something that's not going to cast too much light, but it's going to let you read without straining your eyes. This doesn't work great for me. Usually when I try to read before bed, I get too invested in the book. So if you do read before bed, pick something that's not that engaging, something that's kind of a light read, or something really boring. I've taken some very boring classes in my life, and sometimes reading those textbooks would just make me so sleepy. So if you've got a really boring textbook, try reading that. Number 15. Try no electronic devices for at least 30 minutes before bed. This one I'm really bad about, but if you can, try turning off your phone, like turning your phone to do not disturb, getting off your computer, and just not looking at any of your devices for like 30 minutes before you actually get into bed. Again, it's really hard for me to do that one, but it does give you a break from like all the visual stimulation, and it does help. It does help with sleep. Okay, number 16 is try massage. Massage your neck, massage your feet. One thing I like to do is put lotion on my feet, and I kind of massage my feet while I do that, and massage my hands when I put lotion on them too. I'll massage my neck. I'll try to get all the tension out of my neck and shoulders right before I go to bed. Or you can try some light stretching, some light yoga or Pilates, something really easy that just stretches your body out. You're not really exercising. You're just trying to relax and get the tension out of your body. Okay, so number 17 is develop a sleep ritual. So like I said, like 30 minutes before bed, turn off your devices, put on some soft pajamas, do some light stretching like I mentioned, start your sound machine or your sound app, turn your lights down to low, get a routine going so that your body is like, okay, you're doing all these things, it's time to go to sleep, we're getting ready for bed. So developing some kind of sleep ritual is a good idea. Okay, number 18 is keep your bedroom dark. Using sleep masks has really helped, but even that isn't enough, because sometimes, you'll wake up and maybe your sleep mask has fallen off, and if your room's not all that dark, you're suddenly really awake. Like, one of the rooms in my house has outside a really bright street lamp, so even with the blinds closed, it's really bright in there at night. So I got some blackout curtains so that once it's like after 7, I close those up and the room is dark and not so bright, and so that when I go to bed too, once I start turning my lights down, my body's like, okay, it's nighttime, it's time to go to bed now. So it just helps blocking out the light helps me sleep. It really does help me sleep, because if I see like, oh, the street lamp will keep me up for hours. So blackout curtains are a really nice thing that has helped me sleep. Okay, so number 19 is try using some guided sleep meditations. I'll put some links to the ones I like at the end of this video. There's a bunch on YouTube. There are a bunch of sleep apps too that'll have guided sleep meditations. Find one that you like. Like, I have one that's just like a guy slowly talking, the fire crackling kind of in the background, and it's just like, feel your feet, feel your legs, feel how, relaxed they feel. Relax your neck, pay attention to your breathing. So those ones have been really helpful. I don't use them all that much, but when I'm having a really hard time sleeping, I will put one on, and it does help me sleep. So if all else fails, try a guided sleep meditation. Try a guided sleep meditation from YouTube or a sleep app, or there's some good CDs, especially in the library's catalog, that have sleep meditations on them, and you can throw that on and just see if that helps. So number 20. Our last sleep tip is try diffusing some essential oils. I'm going to show you some essential oils that I really like that help me sleep, and ones that help other people sleep. So the number 1 essential oil is that most people recommend to help you sleep is lavender. I use doTERRA essential oils, but there's a bunch of different essential oil companies. You can get some good quality. I would probably shy away from like getting some from the grocery store because those are lesser quality, but there's a bunch of places you can find them. Lavender is pretty much the number one recommended essential oil to help you sleep. I do know some people who it makes them more awake. So what I always recommend doing is when you get an essential oil, try smelling it, try diffusing it for 15 minutes and see if you like it. See if it is helping you relax, because maybe it'll make you feel really awake, and you want to know that before you're getting ready to go for bed. So lavender is one that it does help me. I do diffuse it sometimes at night. There are a bunch of diffusers you can get from a lot of different places. I generally do at least 5 drops of whatever I'm diffusing. So 5 drops of lavender if you're going to use it. Another one that people like to use is Roman chamomile. Roman chamomile is a really kind of sweet. It's really kind of sweet essential oil. I don't love it by itself. I like to diffuse it with other things, but Roman chamomile is one that a lot of people like. Another one a lot of people like is lang lang. Lang lang. And it's another one that I find pretty sweet. I like diffusing it with other things like Roman chamomile or lavender, but a lot of people like lang lang. Some people find that diffusing peppermint makes them sleepy. It doesn't really help me. It makes me kind of more awake, but a lot of people do like peppermint. I actually really like clove. I know it's probably just me, but I actually really like clove. I like how it smells. It kind of relaxes me. And one that I found that pretty much is only I find relaxing is cinnamon. For some reason, cinnamon makes me sleepy. I don't know why. When I was living with my sister back in Louisiana, she would make like overnight oats, and in her Instant Pot, and she would put a bunch of cinnamon in there. And when the Instant Pot was going, the scent of cinnamon would just fill the house. And I remember it would just make me so sleepy. I'd be like, man, why am I so tired? Is it because of the cinnamon? Apparently, yes. It's because of the cinnamon. I don't know anyone else that this works for, but for me, cinnamon works. I like to diffuse it with clove a lot, but a lot of times I'll just diffuse it by itself. I love cinnamon. It just makes me relaxed and sleepy. So those are, 6 different oils you can try. There are a lot of other different recommendations you can find, but those are ones a lot of people use for sleep. Personally, I use lavender, cinnamon, and clove occasionally, but cinnamon and lavender are the 2 that I use the most. So that is it. Those are all my sleep tips. I hope they helped you. I know that right now a lot is going on, and the past year was really rough, and so getting sleep is more important, I think, than ever, especially to your mental health. I think it's one of the most important parts of self-care is getting a good night's rest. And if you're someone like me who struggles with getting sleep, I hope these sleep tips helped you. And if you're not, but you know someone who does struggle with sleep, show them this video, and hopefully they can find something that they haven't tried yet. So that's it. Thanks for joining us for another Self-Care Saturday. And we'll have another Self-Care Saturday next week. Bye.